Howdy everybody, David here, the Digital Dungeon Master, and in this really quick Fantasy Grounds tutorial for beginners, I am going to show you how to organize your Fantasy Grounds desktop to make it nice and neat and tidy to where you're not going to have windows popping up all over the place. Every time I stream, I always get people, or in the YouTube comments section when they watch my videos, they always ask, "Hey Dave, how do you get your Fantasy Grounds desktop so nice, neat, and organized?" So I'm going to show you how I do it. So you're going to need to go to the Fantasy Grounds forums first and get a couple of extensions. I will put the links to those extensions down in the comments section below so you won't have to rifle through all the different forums. The first one that I use for this tutorial is the Fantasy Grounds Gap, or FG Gap extension. That changes it from the core 5e rule set look to this nice different style type of look. So I've been using this FG Gap skin for quite a while now. The second mod that I'm going to be using is it's basically a larger font extension, and it makes the small font get bigger, and it's by Trendlow. Now there's also one that's out there that was modified from the original Trendlow extension by Lord Gwydion. And Lord Gwydion has modified it to where it will not only work with D&D 5e, but any of the different rule sets that Fantasy Grounds has. And the third is a new extension from Lokaire on the forums. His name is James. He's one of the Fantasy Grounds employees. And it is a window saver. And it is going to literally save our chat box, it's going to save our dice tower, and anything else that you move around and leave open. And when you shut down Fantasy Grounds, the next time you open it up, it's going to say restore all of your closed windows. You click yes, and voila, everything is back to where you left it. So 3 beautiful extensions, and like I said, those links will be down in the comments section below. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do, on my screen now, I have a brand new fresh game. The first thing I do is I always scale UI. Now, this is a feature that a lot of people don't even know exists. And you can access this 2 ways. The first, you can do /scale UI, one word, and you can do a number between 50 and 200. So I'm going to show you what 50 looks like. And look at that. It scales everything down to microscopic size. So that this way, it's going to give you a lot more real estate on your desktop. And this is where the bigger font extension comes into play from Trendlow or Lord Gwydion. So it's going to make the font that much bigger again. So that's pretty nice. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like at 200. Now that's pretty gnarly, isn't it? So we don't want anything that big. And stock is, well, default is 100. So we're back to default. And I personally, for when I'm DMing, I always scale UI to 70. All right. So now that I've got my desktop to a 70 scale UI, now I can start moving things around. And believe me, you can fit everything on your screen. Now, when you go into your library and you basically turn on all of the different categories on the right-hand side, you won't get 2 rows anymore. You'll have 1. Because if we're at 100, I'll show you guys really quick. Now, see, when we're at 100, all of your categories and your searches on the right-hand side, there's 2 rows. So with the scale UI set at 70, you get 1 row. And that's nice. Now, I always put my combat tracker up in the upper left-hand corner. And that works out really well for me. And I'm going to extend this thing down a little bit, and I am going to open it up a little bit. Because at a scale UI of 100, I wouldn't normally be able to do that. And now I'm going to move my chat box. And in case you don't know how, you can just right-click this and hit unlock. And when you unlock it, you can move it around. Okay? You can also clear the chat too with /clear. Not while you're a player, but while you're a DM. So now what I want to do is I want to get my entire left-hand side all lined up. All right. And like I said, this is a one-time shot, because with James's new extension, Lokaire, on the Fantasy Grounds forums, you can set this up and it's going to save it. So now that I've got this set up, let's go ahead and right-click and hit lock. Now look at that. Look at all the real estate we've got left. This is beautiful. Now with James's Windows Saver, it's going to save. It's going to ask you every time that you start the game up. And you're going to have to do this for every single one of your games too. Which is a drawback. But hey, in the end, trust me, it is definitely worth it. And whenever you start your game back up, James's nice little extension is going to have a little blue pop-up that says you want to restore your Windows. And I'm going to show you at the end of this video. Then you just lock it back up. Voila, you're done. I don't want my dice tower down here. I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to put it up here. And in fact, I am going to go ahead and lock this thing up, and then I'm going to adjust my combat tracker because I've got it up just a tad too high. So I like that. I think this is about right, and it will save it. So now I've got my dice tracker, well, my combat tracker, my dice tower, and my chat done. Now I want to do my character sheets. And like I said, you'll have room to put everything. I'm just going to make a blank character sheet. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to anchor this thing up here towards the top. And I leave a little bit of a space in between each box, because sometimes when you go to click on something, it will catch and kind of overlap each item that you're trying to click on, especially with the tabs on the right on the character sheet. So now that I've got a character sheet there, I want to go ahead and put a monster sheet here. And let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and create a blank one. We're not going to need any official monsters or anything. So I'm going to put that down at the bottom for now. Now the next thing I want to do is all of my windows on the right hand side, I always anchor right on top of the combat tracker. So anytime I open up NPCs, it will actually pop up here. But for the NPCs, I keep on the bottom. That's the only exception. Because if I'm dragging and dropping monsters onto the combat tracker, I want to be able to just drop them in like that. I don't want to have to move the NPCs. So the NPC is the only one that I keep on the very bottom over the chat. And like I said, I match up all the windows. There's nothing anywhere. When I open up a window, it is literally organized. And you just do the same with all of these. You know, you're just going to take all of these and just move them over and size them to the size of the combat tracker. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. We're not going to do that in this video. You can do that on your own. Now, what about this space here in the middle? This is where I put all of the pertinent information. Spells, feats, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and just take a skill. And we don't have any skills. Let me go ahead and open up a... in fact, let me go ahead and just take a... Let me open up and make a skill real quick here. All right, there we go. So we'll just say that... We'll just pretend and say this is acrobatics. Even though it's just a blank. Shooting blanks here. Shooting blanks. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend it out to where this is right here. Now the character sheet's overlapping, which is okay, because you can go ahead and just ram that puppy in, just grab the side, and just get a nice even row. Now look at that. You're going to have a beautiful row of your character sheets, all of your skills, all of your powers, everything here. Now, the only thing that you won't be able to put here is going to be your item parcels. And the reason why, they are a little bit larger and they won't close. That's the minimum that the item parcel will be. It won't close anymore. So what we're going to want to do is I put these on top of the chat. And that's perfect. And then all I do is I just kind of extend it across to make it look nice and neat. And that's it. And you have to do, and like I said, you have to do this with every single one of your parcels and your monsters. You're going to have to move them all there, but all you're doing is you're just dragging them and putting them in one spot. That's it. The only thing that you really have to do is take the skill and just drag it over to the right to match up the monster sheet. And then you have to close in, like I said, the character sheet. Now that's it. That's going to take care of pretty much everything. Now you've got all this real estate here on the right-hand side that you put all of your pertinent information, like your story journals and your maps. So let's go ahead and go into my library, and we will go ahead and activate. We'll go ahead and activate one module of maps. Now, see, every time I open something up, I just put it right over here. And that's the last time I'll ever have to do it, because it memorizes where you put this stuff anyway. So, I mean, it's really nice. Now, let's go ahead and get an image here. And look at that. Nice. And these are really nice maps, actually. Now, what I want to do is see how it's just too big. I mean, let's just face it. It's just too big of a map. Let's go ahead and we're going to resize this. I put everything, the title, up above the screen. And then I remember how I said that these tabs are a little finicky on the 5e sheet. And it you know, it doesn't matter what rule set you're using. These tabs have like a clear edge that you could actually, you think you're clicking on the tab, but you're really going to click on the map, and then you'll end up pulling it and dragging it around and stuff. So I leave a little bit of gap in between there, as you can see. And then I just basically, lower right-hand corner, use the drag handle, and I just open this map up. And then I leave a gap on the right-hand side. And then look at that. There's your maps. I mean, it's beautiful. Now for story tabs. This is, and then see, I open up story tabs, and then I just put it here in the upper left-hand corner. And that's just one less thing I'm going to have to dick around with later. So let's make a blank tab. And I like to have a pretty big story tab, because I want to be able to see a bunch of information. So let's go ahead and open that up. We're going to line it up with the bottom of the monster sheet. Nice clean line over here. And voila, look at that. All this data you'll be able to see as you're DMing. And look at that. All you got to do is click on the map or the journal to flip back and forth. That way you don't have to move anything. So there you go, everybody. It's as simple as that. And your Fantasy Grounds desktop, with a little bit of tender love and care and a scale UI of a 70, or hell, you can even go to 50 if you've got good eyes. I'm getting blind as a bat, so that's why I've got to have glasses on at 70. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys get it set up, and you guys will be organized as well. So let's go ahead and now let's shut this thing down, and I'm going to show you what James's new extension does. Okay, so we're back at the starting menu for Fantasy Grounds, and you want to come down here and click on Settings, and then once you click on Settings, you're going to want to go to the Settings UI, and this is the second place where you can adjust your Scale UI. So not only can you use the /Scale UI command inside of the game, you can also change your Scale UI setting here Now let's get back into that game, and I want to show you what Lokaire's new extension called Windows Saver does. Now don't forget, please get that extension activated first, because if you go into your game and you do all this work and you don't have the Windows Saver extension activated, it's not going to save it. So you're going to need to make sure you shut your game down, enable the extension, and then get inside of the game, get everything set up, and then it should work from there. So let's go ahead and let's load our campaign up, and I'll see you on the other side. So here we are, everybody. Moment of truth. We're back to the Fantasy Grounds desktop. Now you'll notice that this Windows Saver box is here. This is from the new Windows Saver extension by James at Fantasy Grounds. And all you do is just hit that yes and just watch everything pop back up to where it was. Drum roll, please. There you go. Wow, look at that. Our chat box is still in the same spot. Look at that. Our dice tower is not down here in the lower right-hand corner. It's back up at the top left where I put it. All of the other windows are saved. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you so much, Lokaire, for that great extension. I am almost wanting to shed a tear here. This is going to save you a lot of time in the future. So there you go. I hope you new Fantasy Grounds users out there learned something today. And maybe even if you've been using the program for a while, maybe you'll take something from this video. Hope you do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do me a huge favor and thumbs up this video, please. I would really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, stay subscribed. I'll have those links down in the comment section. Leave a comment also. I always join the discussion. So until next time, everybody, happy gaming and keep it savage.